Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Earth. Hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to be doing something very different than what we typically do. This channel, I mostly discuss watches, topics within the watch world that I think a lot of you really resonate with. But I recently watched a documentary on Netflix and I wanted to make sure that this was a message that I got out to at least the audience that I have, because I think education in this topic is something that's extremely important and it's the only way that we'll see any change. And the documentary is Sir David Attenborough's new documentary called A Life on Our Planet. It was released on Netflix a couple weeks ago. I don't know when you're going to be seeing this, but this really, I was kind of speechless afterwards because I realized that I was not doing enough to help the climate change. And I think the message that really came across this was there is no questioning what's happening to our planet. It is happening, and we're the only ones who can really slow the increase in the climate and the extinction of many animals and the destruction of our oceans and the destruction of our forests. And what I wanted to do is really I'm literally just going to play this trailer for you so that you see it. And I really hope that you can actually go and watch it and really hear the message that comes out of this documentary. And then I'm going to discuss some of the things that I'm going to try and do in order to assist climate change. I want to say this at the beginning of the video. Climate change is not something that is up for debate. It is something that is occurring, it has been occurring, and this documentary puts it into perspective and shows you, it's a witness statement from Sir David Attenborough that this is happening and that something has to happen, or it's really going to be the end of human civilization, human race. And I think there's an interesting message that I'll say once I play this trailer for you, and I want to make sure that you guys see it. So I'm going to stop talking, I'm going to play this trailer, I'm not going to stop it at all, I'm just literally going to play it through so that you can see it. I think it's important that this is played and you're able to see it, so I'll go ahead and play it.
Tonight, we've got rather different program for you.
I am David Attenborough, and I am 93. I've had the most extraordinary life. It's only now that I appreciate how extraordinary. The living world is a unique and spectacular marvel. Yet the way we humans live on Earth is sending it into a decline. Human beings have overrun the world. We're replacing the wild with the tame. This film is my witness statement and my vision of the future. The story of how we came to make this our greatest mistake. And how, if we act now, we can yet put it right. Our planet is headed for disaster. We need to learn how to work with nature rather than against it. And I'm going to tell you how.
Okay, so I think this gives you a good idea of the premise of this documentary. Essentially, what ends up happening is he goes over what has changed in his lifetime, what will occur if we don't change our habits, and then what we can do to really stop the destructive nature that we have on this planet. So one of the main things that kind of came out of this is we have developed as a society to where we are really living separate from the natural world, and what we need to really go back to is trying to live in harmony with it and really live in a sustainable way so that not just our species sustains, but all species and plants and areas of the world can be sustained. And I think the biggest message that I got from this is there's really no choice. And so I'm going to tell you kind of what I want to change, and I want to see if, and make some suggestions to you to see if you can also kind of help us with this. This is a crisis. This is the only crisis that really matters, because if human civilization doesn't take care of the planet, there is not going to be a planet where you can enjoy watches or have these big businesses that run or go to school. There's not going to be any of that if we don't solve this real problem. So a couple of things that I currently do. I'm very focused on recycling. I know this sounds very basic, but I don't think I currently live in the United States, and I don't believe that the United States does a good enough job with its recycling. I think there are really great efforts to do it, but I have seen countries like Switzerland where they take a much better approach at recycling. As an example, they recycle by I remember walking down to this recycling place in the town that I lived, and they had recycling areas for different colors of glass. You could recycle batteries, you could recycle those types of things. It's not as accessible in the United States, and I think that's something that I would like to continue to focus on. Is yes, it's going to take more effort to recycle certain things in the United States. However, I'm going to make the effort to do that a lot more. So that's my first focus. The second focus has to do with my emissions. I currently drive an electric vehicle, so I don't use oil, which is obviously something that has become very, very, it's essentially become an absolute need for this world. And I think companies like Tesla and BMW and Audi are creating cars that you don't have to have oil, and that's another thing that I'm going to be doing. And the last thing is, I actually used to use this a lot a couple of years ago, and I kind of just fell off using it. But this is actually a solar panel. This is a solar panel. You can get these off of Amazon, but this is from Sun Kingdom. Let's see here, Sun Kingdom, and it's essentially 2 solar panels, and it has this USB port. And so what I want to go back to doing is using solar energy to charge this battery pack that I have. This is a battery pack I have here that essentially I'm going to try and use this to charge my phone more than just plugging into the wall and dealing with convenience. So I'm going to be using these solar panels to charge this battery, and then obviously charging my phone that way, or anything that I can charge via USB. I'm going to try and use that a lot more. I think this is a way to reduce the amount of reliance that I have on non-sustainable energy sources, and hopefully promote other people for doing that. I literally go to Amazon. This is my suggestion to you. 1, focus on recycling. 2, go to Amazon, buy yourself a solar panel. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. Obviously do some research to make sure it's one that's going to work for you and actually is good quality, and it will be able to charge your phone or whatever. But I think making that effort is going to help us. The last thing that was mentioned in the video really had to do with our consumption. Human beings eat a lot of meat, and I think one of the things that is probably one of the harder messages from this movie has to do with the types of food that humans eat. And I think it can be very simple. Just try and eat less meat. You don't have to go completely vegetarian where you're only eating everything else besides meats. You don't have to go fully that way, but I think it's important to at least make a conscious effort of not consuming so much meat, because the land that we need to produce all the meat for all these humans who are consuming meat at such a rate is really cutting into the natural landscapes and destroying biodiversity, and that's not what we want. So those are some anecdotes that I'm going to be doing in my life in order to try and join this cause of trying to save our planet, really. And I know this is not watch related. I know this is probably a real 360 to what I normally create content about, but I think this is a cause that's extremely important to me, and I want to make sure that even if it is 2 people who listen to my message and make some sort of change, it's still 2 more people than before if I didn't make this message. So definitely check out this documentary from Sir David Attenborough. It's a great documentary and really hit home for me, and that's why I decided to make this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to share this with your friends. I think it doesn't have to be my video, but share the fact that there is a documentary like this out there that really focuses on one of the most important crises of human civilization. You know, like I said, this isn't typical Life on the Wrist content, but it's something that's important to me, and I want to make it an important focus for Life on the Wrist. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We create videos about watches. I don't know if you're going to be interested in watches, but it is something that's important to us, and maybe we'll do more content around this type of theme. Also, if you wouldn't mind just smashing that like button for us, it really does help us out, and it gets, you know, it helps out the almighty YouTube algorithm with getting my videos to those who may be interested in them. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.